Hello, and welcome to the Numbers of Thoth. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the subject of Egyptian blue. It was used in antiquity as a blue pigment to color across a variety of different media such as stone, wood, plaster, papyrus, and canvas. And, in the production of numerous objects, including cylinder seals, beads, scarabs, inlays, pots, and statuettes. Sometimes, it is referred to in Egyptological literature as blue frit. The term Egyptian blue was first recorded in English, in 1809. Egyptian blue, also known as calcium copper silicate or cuprorovate, is a pigment that was used in ancient Egypt for thousands of years. It is considered to be the first synthetic, or man-made, colorant. The chemistry of Egyptian blue is ingenious. All the necessary ingredients were local, abundant, and cheap. Experiments by scientists and archaeologists confirm Egyptian blue was produced by heating together quartz sand, a copper compound, calcium carbonate, and a small amount of an alkali such as natron salt, at temperatures ranging between 800 to 1000 degrees centigrade or 1470 to 1830 degrees Fahrenheit. There were several different techniques for making pottery by hand, stacking a number of coils on a flat clay base, weaving, and free modeling. These three techniques were used from the pre-dynastic period until at least the Old Kingdom. An important advance was the invention of the potter's wheel. This enabled the potter to rotate the wheel in the vessel with one hand while shaping the vessel with the other. Molds were also used to make small items such as beads and statuettes. The blue-painted style dominated Egyptian pottery production from the middle of the 18th dynasty until the end of the 20th dynasty, that is from about 1500 to 1000 BC. The main motifs were lotus flowers and buds, and individual petals of various flowers, painted as if they were on a thread draped around the neck and shoulders of the vase. Depictions of young animals and symbols of Hathor in the form of a hippopotamus, and the lion dwarf god of the common people, Bes, were also popular. These vessels are usually made of Nile clay. The earliest evidence for the use of Egyptian blue was identified by Egyptologist Lorelei H. Corcoran, of the University of Memphis. It is on an alabaster bowl dated to the late pre-dynastic period, or Nakada III, circa 3250 BC. Excavated at Hierakonpolis, and now in the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. The color intensity depends on the level of alkali added to the mixture, so with more alkali, more glass is formed, and the more diluted the appearance. In the Middle Kingdom, that is around 2050 to 1652 BC, Egyptian blue continued to be used as a pigment in the decoration of tombs, wall paintings, furnishings, and statues. And by the New Kingdom, around 1570 to 1070 BC, its use was widespread in the production of a huge variety of objects. The color consists of two different layers of material, an inner core, and an outer layer of glaze. The core is made up of particles that can vary in size from fine to coarse, and vary in color from white to very pale blue, green, brown, or gray, depending on impurities contained in source materials. The way light hits the interface between the core and the glassy quartz glaze gives an impression of brightness as well as translucency. Blue glazed ware, known as commonly as faience, was used on a huge variety of forms. The fragrant blossom of the blue lotus is a common motif in all forms of Egyptian art. This is because it opened its petals to the sun each morning, and so became a symbol of creation and rebirth. During the Third Intermediate Period, faience chalices like this one were lotus bud-shaped and decorated with relief scenes evoking a constellation of myths about the birth of the king as the sun god, in the watery marsh. The goddess hedgehog Abest first appears in the 26th dynasty in the tomb of Banantiu, in the Bahari Oasis, and was discovered in 1938. She was most likely a form of the goddess Hathor. According to the Ebers medical papyrus, from the 18th dynasty, the quills of the hedgehog could be ground up and mixed with fat to produce a cure for baldness. From around 2600 BC, Egyptian blue enters the historical record, and use of the pigment gradually spread across the ancient world, as far as Mesopotamia, and the outer reaches of the Roman Empire. The skill in reproducing the color consistently cannot be underestimated. Achieving the necessary temperature control for a successful reaction would have been a major challenge, as indeed would the correct addition of oxygen. Another testament to the skill of Egyptian chemists is the consistency of the pigment throughout history. The enduring beauty and color of ancient Egyptian faience has never been surpassed. Objects 3,000 years old retain the splendor of their original color. Its use continued throughout the late period and Greco-Roman period, only dying out in the 4th century AD, when the secret to its manufacture was lost for centuries. If you have enjoyed this film or found it useful, please give us a like. And, if you never want to miss an episode of the Numbers of Thoth, then hit the subscribe button now. Until the next time, thank you for listening. See you soon for another deep dive into ancient Egyptian history and the knowledge of Thoth.